Downtown is busy, not as much over here, but back there's sidewalk sales. All the stores brought everything out onto the sidewalks. And there's a Porsche. All it says on the back is Porsche. I don't even know what it is. I don't like it though. Exhaust looks dicked. So, hello police. What else we got? We got a Jag trying to back out. Yeah, seems pretty quiet over here. So I've been busy today. It's 2:30 and I'm just now getting to the pool. I got up at 10, did an hour of mail and I'm still way behind on that. Then the FCP U-joint for the 330 showed up, so I put that in. I'll talk more about it later in this vlog. It was really pretty easy and it seems to have worked, I'll tell you that much now. I have never driven this car more on the highway than I have in the last 7 to 10 days. All the way to Pittsburgh and back, a couple airport runs, and now way out to West Cleveland for some concert that Megan really wants to go to. Just south of downtown Cleveland, and I've kind of been sitting here and just stop and go for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. Well, at least I have working air conditioning that works really well, but why does using your nav chew through battery so much? I was at 70% half an hour ago, I'm at 34% now, just using nav. I forget Cleveland has a lake.
Walk down there and then up.
See Burke Lakefront Airport. That big orange monstrosity is the Brown Stadium, where a game has not been won in over 2 seasons. I'm not even making that up. With these couple buildings. Key Tower, 200 Public Square, and Terminal Tower. I don't know the name of the round one. And back there, are those the lights to the, what are those? They kind of look like stadium lights, but that's not really where the stadium is, or maybe it is. That might be, what's the name of the park? Progressive. Progressive, no. Progressive Field. Should have been Progressive Park for the Cleveland Indians. Hey, welcome back to the vlog. So, still crazy busy. It's 10:35, I'm still driving. We got up to I went to Megan's house, then we drove over to Edgewater Park, whatever. Huge thing. I did not expect it was going to be that big. I got no preface on it. But it was fun. On the beach, the water was cold. We didn't want to go in anyways, but there were a lot of people around, and we got food at the food trucks. Swenson's, which is a local burger chain, had a truck, so we had a Swenson's burger, fries, and then your typical large public event lemonades, the one where they put the whole lemon and 16 cups of sugar in a large cup with ice and charge you $6 for it. Yeah, I love that stuff. It's really good. And then we went back to her place, had milkshakes, and then I had to get back down here because I'm dropping off the 330 at LMS for parking brake cables. Because they're both screwed and the brake handle pulls all the way up. And I know that the pads, the clips, and the springs and all of that stuff's fine, but the cables themselves are just dicked. So they actually had a super competitive price to just replace them, and I don't want to have to take down the exhaust. I was under the impression the transmission and drive shaft needed to come out, but they say no. So hopefully they're right, they should know. But I did install the steering U-joint today, the double U-joint in the column. I remember ever since I've had this car, I'm like, why do people like this rack and pinion steering? It isn't accurate, it isn't communicative like the recirculating ball that the M5 and 540 had. And I remember getting comments from people, they're like, yeah, you probably need to replace the U-joint. There's a flex disc in there, and that would bring back some of the steering feel. Now is the time when I either say, and you were right, or I try to stick to my guns and say, no, it feels the same. Well, it definitely doesn't feel the same, because it was very broken before. The old U-joint is dicked. I have it at home. I will show it to you tonight, maybe, or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow in daylight. It was bad. The DIY, you know what? I'm gonna go with easy. it wasn't bad at all. The hardest part was getting the car up in the air on the jack stands. That was a little bit of a pain. With one person, you have to keep going back and forth, side to side to side to side to make sure it's going to line up with the jack stands. But that, and then taking the intake boot off, I had to use a U-joint on some stuff to actually get to it. But it's done. It went in. It came out in like 10 minutes. I just had to turn it a couple of times to find the good ways to access the bolts. And then it did kind of stick to the column on the south end of it, and stuck to the rack on the south end of it. But I was able to put a chisel in there and just beat the living piss out of it with a mallet, and it popped off. So it went on pretty easily and bolted. It went on in like 10 minutes with the bolts in and everything. And now it's really tight. It's tight, it's quiet. I still like the recirculating ball better, but this is a huge improvement over what it was. And now I've let it sit a couple hours too, and it's still good. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this one fixed. Might as well show you now. Here's the old part. It's all greasy, so I'm gonna use a towel to hold it. Since both front axles on that car have been replaced twice in my ownership, and they both failed because they're aftermarket parts. Since they're not $1,000 a piece, they're like $200 for the aftermarket, and I'm not gonna spend $1,000 for one axle. There is axle grease on everything. It's all over the cement out here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to clean it up. But the old one is in slightly worse shape now than when I originally removed it, or when I started the job, because in order to bash it off of the rack, which is this end, I had to put a big screwdriver and then eventually a chisel right here and just wail on it, or maybe on that side where the paint's chipped off, and that kind of screwed up the U-joint. But it's permanently stuck at this weird angle, and it's, let me see if I can do something here. Maybe if I put that like that and then come out here. Yeah, how about that? So this is obviously supposed to move and be flexible and be fluid. It moves in notches and not smoothly. Ooh, almost lost it there. And not smoothly at all. You can get it to move, but it's like a lot of force, and then it's jerky. So clearly a bad part. I don't think it's original, personally. I don't think these things last this long. I think this is probably the second one. It was replaced at 150,000 miles or whatever. Look at that rubber flex disc part. That looks way too nice to be original, 16 years old, 235,000 miles. I just don't think it is. Does that say BMW? It says made in Germany. Then there's some numbers. It's not rusty enough. You know, there's a piece of steel that's not rusty enough. The bolts came out way too easily. I don't know, maybe it is original, but if that's original, that thing long outlived its productive life. Also, when we were doing the tie rods, Nate, you'll find this funny. You know what that is? I found it. So we're doing the tie rods, and the one we round off the little hex head on the top after 2 years because it's already rusted to shit and it rounds off. So I had to dig out the Dremel and we had to cut it, and I got it about halfway cut, and then I couldn't cut it anymore, so I got a hammer and I started beating on it. And it flew off and went somewhere, and we looked everywhere and couldn't find it. And then I'm driving yesterday and I hear this weird metal on metal kind of clinking, clunking sound, and I knew exactly where it was. So after I did the U-joint today, I pulled off the front right wheel, because that's the corner where it was. I took off the caliper carrier with the caliper still mounted to the caliper carrier. I released the screw on the rotor set screw, that H7 or whatever it is, H6. And as soon as I got that screw, it turned loose on the rotor, pulled away from the hub, pop, this thing came out. So it did indeed go in the rotor and was floating around in there for a little bit.